I want to talk about why you upgraded to the XT3, but then you actually went back to the XT2s.
Well, I didn't go back to the XT2s. I never sold the XT2s actually. I have a bunch of XT2s. I have, I don't know, enough to run my studio, like four of them I think at the
Hmm.
time. And then the XT3 came out, and I was super stoked, because that camera rocks for me. Like
Yeah, it
that's
just came out. It's new and exciting.
yeah, and that was like this time last year I think it came out, and I got it, and I definitely wanted it,
Yeah.
a new platform,
What made you buy it? Just a review you saw, or is
Well, I
this?
just been, what actually made me buy it was I've been relying on that camera system for a couple seasons now, and I'd really gotten used to it, and I really liked it. And a lot of people were saying the XT3 was way better than the XT2. And
You didn't find that though.
well, it's in a handful of ways it is. Like the autofocus system is better because now you get the you can use the whole screen, but instead of before you could it was only part of the screen that you could select your points on that were effective at doing autofocus. But so that was one of the things. But at the same time, like I don't really do that much. Like I'm pretty comfortable with using most of the autofocus points in the center and to the sides. I didn't need to get way to the far sides for focusing most of the time. Still,
Hmm.
so like to me that wasn't that big of a deal. I feel like the autofocus tracking was faster for sure, but most of the improvements and
Is
changes.
autofocus fine on the XT2s for
Oh
wedding
yeah,
work?
it's totally good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's way better than the Canon DSLRs I was using before. So like to me, they're really good. And like, but so that I got the X-T3 and I tried all these things out. And after I had it for a little while, I thought to myself like it's most of the money and the upgrades and the research that Fuji put into it was on the video side. There's a lot more video features. Like before, I think the video menu was 1 or 2 pages, and now it's like 6 or 7. There's tons more video like stuff that you can do in the X-T3. So if you're a video only kind of person, or you do a lot of video stuff and some photography, like then I feel like that makes sense. But for me as a photographer, like I run a photography business, we don't deliver video to our clients or anything. It just didn't make sense for me to spend however much money to upgrade all of those cameras into X-T3s when the X-T2 is just doing it right. And also, I don't like to have two different camera systems, even though the sensors are similar, like in megapixels and stuff. Some of the colors are a little different, and I noticed it from file to file, and I just didn't want to have extra work in post production to make it look like more like the XT2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
Yeah. One
ultimately
little
decided to
Yeah,
do
one
away with the
little
XT3.
fun fact is that the sensors are actually made by a different manufacturer this time, so
Oh,
it's not a Sony sensor. So maybe that's why it
that
was a
might be
little bit.
part of it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because it definitely looked different in post, and I was like, this either I'm gonna have to switch all of them and justify that cost in my head, because that'd be at least a couple $1,000s to upgrade all of them and sell the old ones.
yeah.
So like to me, it
So
wasn't
yeah,
really
let's
worth
just
it to
talk about
make
the
that step.
yeah. So ISO, how was ISO performance compared to the X-T2? I feel like I shot that camera a little bit too. I felt like it was similar things I saw
I
online.
mean, like the ISO performance is obviously better in the XT3 than the XT2, but like it's not
The internet
usably
disagrees, I think.
better.
Yeah,
Well,
I,
I didn't notice anything
yeah,
where I was like, "Oh man, I wish that I had more ISO or anything."
yeah.
Like I don't go
You,
past ISO 6400 pretty much ever on any camera anyway. So like to me, most of the time that's fine. Like most
Yeah,
cameras
so
can
it's
do
not even something
6400
you
pretty well.
noticed. Yeah, even if the internet's mad about it, it doesn't mean that you're going to see
Yeah,
it in your
yeah,
photography,
yeah. Some
basically.
internet might be mad, but for me,
Yeah,
the XT2 is great still. Like the files are still small. When I bring them into post, I can
yeah,
build previews fast. Like I don't have a lot of time waiting around for stuff, and like the other nice part is if one takes a trip down the stairs because I dropped it, like I can pick up another used one on the market for half the price of the XT3. So like it's
so
cheaper
yeah,
overall to operate and to own,
yeah. So I'm just
obviously.
kind of condensing all this down. There's like probably an $800 difference between the XT2, like buying an XT2 used, and then buying the new XT3, right?
Maybe at least $500
At
per
least,
camera. If you got a few of
yeah,
them,
yeah. And you typically have four
at
cameras.
least four. Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes six. Depends on the season.
and it sounds to me like the biggest upgrade would be just video, really. So
Yeah, for me it would have just been
yeah,
video, and so
and I
like,
guess the autofocus is better, but it's not
but marginally, not enough to
marginally. Okay.
justify that much cost. Because like, if you think of it, even if it was
Yeah.
just four cameras, that's $6,000 to buy them all new, and then to sell off the old ones, like you're
Yeah.
$2,000 or $3,000, $4,000.
Yeah.
That's a big cost for me just to justify the one autofocus. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah. I think it's cool that you thought practically about this upgrade and you sold it off or
Yeah.
sent it back or whatever. I think
Yeah, I
that's
think that like when you run your own photography business, you really need to be aware of where your costs are and what's costing you money and what you need versus what you like. There's some things like you can get away with because I'm a professional photographer. I can probably make better pictures out of an older camera than a regular person with the same camera. So I'm not like intimidated by people who have better cameras than me or anything because I've been doing it for a long time and I'm comfortable with my skill set and I know that I'm gonna make awesome pictures regardless if I have the newest camera or not. Like I have enough confidence in my abilities and my skills that I don't need the newest machine.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
but
if you want the X-T3 and you need those video functions, or you're just getting into it and you don't already have a bunch of X-T2s, maybe get the X-T3. Like you probably find one on the used market for a little less now.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing photography and you're just getting started and you want to save some money, you can get a bunch of X-T2s and get it done.
If we weren't filming this on my Sony right now, would it be good to film it on an X-T3 rather than an X-T2? Or
well, I mean, the kind of filming that we do is still pretty simplistic to what like
it's
maybe
YouTube.
like it's YouTube.
Yeah.
Like it's all just sitting on a stand.
if somebody,
it's all pretty simple.
yeah.
You could still get away with it.
Yeah,
X-T2 for sure.
It's funny. We keep on coming back to video, but I think it's because photography is not necessarily at a standstill, but there's not that many like exciting photography things coming in like the most recent upgrades, and so
not without computers leading the way now. Seems like
we need computational photography at this point.
Apple's kind of pushing us into the next iteration of cameras.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are looking at the video specs, but they're not thinking about why they need those specs
right.
or whatnot. So if you're upgrading to an X-T3 from an X-T2, then think about why you're doing it, and maybe the X-T2 is enough for your purposes. I mean, you say that the autofocus is great.
Totally.
The ISO
has dual card
performance
slots,
is good.
ISO is great. It does face detection. It does 4K video. I mean, it's great.
And 4K video, that's more than enough for YouTube. I mean,
more than enough.
Yeah, a lot of people just upload in 1080 still. So
I feel like the X-T3 is really for the real pro level like videographer that wants that sweet lens lineup and wants to, you know what I mean? Wants to utilize all of that to have more choices and to make more video for less money, you know?
Yeah.
Because compared to like a full frame companion, like if you were going to compare the Sony and the Fujis, like the Fuji's a lot less expensive, even if you go with the X-T3, brand new. I mean, it's what $500 less, $300 less, and then that's enough to get a pretty good lens and get going, you know.
And the Fuji lenses are cheaper.
Yeah, typically. A lot cheaper. Like even their pro level, like their most expensive lenses, minus like the macro and like some of the zoom lenses. But if you you can get like the 56-1.2 for like I don't know $700-800. You can get their 23-1.4, which is like the 35 equivalent for like same thing, like $600-700. Like you're going, and they also have like the Cron level. So they have a lot of lenses and a lot of. I mean, if I was a videographer, I would definitely consider Fuji.
If somebody's starting out right now, should they go X-T1 or X-T2?
X-T2 or X-T3?
Or X-T1 or X-T2?
Well, I wouldn't go with X-T1 at all because autofocus on that system isn't very good.
Okay. So.
And the X-T2 actually wasn't very good at the beginning, but they improved it over time. And that's one of the things that's maybe more interesting about the X-T3 is like it's only a year old, and like Fuji's always making changes and upgrades to their cameras via firmware updates. So it's very possible that the X-T3 could get, because that's what happened with the X-T2. Like over 3 or 4 versions of software, it went from being marginally okay at autofocus to being the best autofocus camera I ever used at the time. And like they could do something like that with X-T3 where it could just keep getting better, or maybe it would make sense to upgrade. But right now it just doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah. Are you going to be Hawkeye in the X-T4 when it comes out?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You're going to be on Fuji or
and like it does make sense to kind of like if you are running a business and you're trying to save money to skip an iteration of cameras, because like if you skip an iteration of cameras, you really use that camera up. You know what I mean? Like those X-T2s are on their last leg by the time I go to X-T4s.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was photo footage. This is Nick Sparks right here. This is Matt Irving over here. You can find me on Instagram at Matt Irving Photography. Where can they find Nick Sparks?
I don't know.
At Nick Sparks Photography.
Go to his Instagram page. It's cool. Anyway, thanks guys.